That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take the arms against the sea of troubles by opposing, end them, to die, to sleep. These are the famous words written by William Shakespeare. Good morning, my fellow classmates. Today I stand before you expected to present to you a speech on the topic of suicide, but that's not what I will do. What I will do is bestow upon you the knowledge and the new insights to the struggles and hardships of someone who's pushed to their limit, pushed so far that they've considered taking their own life, to commit suicide, the option that is no option. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines suicide as the act or an instance of taking one's own life voluntarily and intentionally, especially by a person of years of discretion and of sound mind. In the US, the suicide rate is average 1 every 17 minutes, 83 every day, and 30,300 every year. If we take the statistics and apply it to our lives, over the course of these 15 years to whom it applies, about 453,500 people have committed suicide. And among them is one person, Roberto Herrera, my best friend. Roberto Herrera was an 11-year-old boy, about 5'2", weighing 89 pounds. He took his own life on November 17, 2009. We met because I was a new student and so was he. We were in the 6th grade at the moment. We became best friends almost instantaneously. Even though we got along well, some guys didn't like Roberto, so they bullied him. I tried to confront the bullies and ask them to put an end to their bullying many times, but each time they refused and ended up in a heated argument broken up by a teacher. I also tried to convince Roberto to report them to the guidance counselor or the principal or even the teacher, but he claimed it was all right and that it was nothing. But slowly over time, I could see his personality eroding under the pressure of the words and the torment of the bullies, causing him to slowly drift away from everyone, even me. One week he seemed happier than ever, and than he has ever been in a long time. He told me the reason behind his happiness was that he found a way out. At first I thought it was drugs or alcohol or something along that line. But he insisted that his way out was to write. From that day on, he sat by the oak tree on the field at recess and would write. But every time I tried to sit with him and see what he was writing, he insisted that I left. So I left him alone. But little did I know that every afternoon he sat there, he was creating his final piece, a piece so monumental, so heart-wrenching, so grim, that it caused the divorce of his dad and his stepmother. Every day he sat there, he was writing his suicide note. One night he called me and he was crying. He said he didn't know anymore. He said he was in pain. He said he wished it could all end. I tried to get him to get himself together. I comforted him and let him know that I was there for him at any time. He sounded happy. He sounded at peace. Then a silence emerged. It wasn't an awkward one. It was a loving one straight from the heart. I love you, bro. These words broke that silence. I love you too, man. I responded. After that, he concluded the conversation with the excuse that he had homework. After that, he seemed to be back to his normal self. But he still wrote at recess. 2 days later, on the night of November 17, 2009, with a stool and a necktie, Roberto took his own life. Just in case you're wondering, yes, this is a true story. Roberto was my best friend. But I didn't go to the funeral or anything, even though I really wanted to, but I couldn't bear seeing him in the coffin. Bullying is just one way suicide.
Don't cry, Jocelyn. Aww. It's gonna make me cry.
Bullying is just one way suicide is provoked. But there are many reasons why people commit suicide, such as the death of a loved one, financial issues, relationship problems, and the list goes on and on. Have you ever had too many problems, so much that you don't know what to do? Have you ever been pushed to the point where you feel that there is no escape? I know I have. Yes, I have contemplated suicide many times. But due to the fact that I had good friends, I decided not to. They told me not to do it, and they showed me that there is always a reason to live. If you are afraid of telling anyone, there's always the option of calling the suicide hotline. 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. In conclusion, suicide is never the answer. It might hurt you for a moment, but it kills the people who love you for a lifetime. Thank you.